many who are here today and
Everything changed the moment a hidden truth came to light. A DNA test has revealed that Prince William may have a daughter no one ever knew about, and the most painful part? Kate didn't hear it from him, but from legal documents. Now, with hearts breaking behind palace walls, this secret threatens to shake the crown like never before. Join us as we reveal what Prince William has been hiding from the public all this while. Uncovering Prince William's past secret. It all started when one piece of confidential information was leaked, and within a few hours, everything inside the palace was in chaos. Someone from the inside, who chose to stay unnamed, came forward with what they claimed were undeniable pieces of evidence. These included internal royal documents, private messages, legal records, and most shocking of all, a DNA test result that showed a 99.9% genetic match between Prince William and a young woman whose identity was being kept under wraps. Insiders reportedly confirmed that it was no longer speculation, it was a verified connection. The girl, now 19, had been living a quiet life out of the spotlight. But things changed drastically when earlier this year her legal team submitted a private paternity case. The royal family had expected the matter to remain sealed behind closed doors. They weren't prepared for what came next. Those DNA results were leaked to the press, and suddenly whispers turned into national headlines. What made everything worse was how the information reached Princess Catherine. According to people close to the family, she wasn't told by William himself. She didn't even hear it from palace officials. Instead, she found out through the lawyers who were preparing to deal with the potential fallout. At that time, Catherine was already going through her own hidden health struggle, fighting ovarian cancer, something the world wouldn't even know about until months later. To be hit with something this painful during such a fragile time took a serious emotional toll on her. Many had been wondering why she had pulled back from public life, why she had gone silent, and why her presence at royal events had suddenly stopped. Now, it seems like the truth is slowly coming to light. This could be the real reason behind her sudden withdrawal. A scandal that hadn't been seen at this level since Princess Diana's time was now unfolding, one that had barely started to reveal its full weight. At the center of this royal storm was a teenager whose name hadn't yet been released, but was already becoming part of royal history. This young woman had, through her lawyers, officially filed a claim stating that Prince William was her biological father. Her legal team was reportedly working with a firm that specializes in keeping high-profile cases out of the spotlight. Through court-ordered procedures, her team was able to get access to key information, and that's where the DNA result came in. Her mother, who had once worked at the University of St. Andrews, the same university where William and Kate fell in love, was believed to have had a short and private relationship with William during his time there. It was something that had never been acknowledged publicly, and only a handful of staff members had quietly whispered about it. But some secrets don't stay buried forever. Buckingham Palace has chosen to stay silent, but those close to the royal family say the girl's legal representatives have been quietly communicating with the palace for months. And now there are whispers that she might speak out herself very soon. From what's been gathered, the young woman isn't asking for royal titles or a place in the spotlight. She simply wants the truth to be recognized. But if she decides to come forward publicly, the royal family may be forced to answer a painful and historic question like, can the monarchy withstand the weight of a hidden child? For Catherine, the Princess of Wales, this revelation struck harder than anyone could imagine. She's always been known as the calm in every royal storm, the graceful figure who smiled even when things were falling apart behind the scenes. But this time, away from the cameras and the public's eyes, she's crumbling. People close to her say the news didn't just hurt her, it broke her completely. Already trying to regain her strength after months of cancer treatment, Catherine was still emotionally and physically fragile when this truth landed like a bomb. What made it even more devastating was how it was revealed. The child in question may have been born before she and William married, but he never told her. And the moment she discovered the truth wasn't through a conversation with her husband. It wasn't even from a newspaper article. She found out during a confidential legal meeting when documents were quietly handed to her lawyers, not by William, but by her advisors. That cut deeper than any rumor ever could. People inside the palace said she didn't scream. She didn't even cry. She just went still. And then, she shut down completely. She stopped speaking to him. Not out of rage, but out of heartbreak. Catherine has carried the burden of royalty with remarkable dignity. She handled the fallout of Prince Harry and Meghan stepping away, stood tall while constant comparisons to Princess Diana flooded the media, and held the family together when King Charles became ill.
Buckingham Palace has said King Charles spent a short period of time in hospital today.
She helped protect the royal image through moments that threatened to bring it all crashing down. And she did it with grace, always smiling, always showing up. But this wasn't about duties or titles or royal protocol. This was personal. This was about something sacred, which was trust. This was the man she built her life with, and now, in a single moment, he felt like someone she didn't recognize. Although her recent absence from public events was first explained as a result of her health, those close to her are now revealing that her emotional pain played a major role as well. She simply couldn't keep up the royal act anymore. Cameras, interviews, formal appearances, it all became too much. She wasn't just physically exhausted, her heart was weary too. Behind the palace walls, she pulled away from everything. She stopped answering her staff, canceled official updates, and chose to be surrounded only by the people who had never let her down. Her mother, Carol Middleton, and her sister, Pippa.
Post-wedding, has the fact that your sister now has taken on this enormous role?
They became her shelter as she tried to protect her children from the chaos and figure out what her next steps would be. A close friend shared that she's doing her best to keep things normal for the kids. But behind her quiet strength, she's searching for clarity, because this isn't just a matter of the past. It's about deception, about broken trust, and about the realization that the man she believed she knew inside and out might have kept the deepest secret of all. Someone close to the palace quietly shared that Kate keeps repeating the same painful question to herself. How can she move forward with someone who kept such a big part of his past hidden from her? And that's the part that truly stings. It's not just the fact that it happened, it's the silence, the secrecy. Kate has long been the royal family's strongest and most reliable figure, always holding everything together with grace. But now she's not just dealing with heartbreak. She's mourning the life she believed was hers. And no amount of royal status or public admiration can ease the ache of realizing that something so personal, so important, was kept from her. As for the woman linked to this hidden story, she's no public figure. But who exactly is she? Let's find out. The unknown mistress. This woman has actually never appeared in tabloids, never tried to attract attention, and has never sat for an interview. But lately her name is being whispered behind palace doors and spreading through the corridors of Buckingham Palace like wildfire. The woman now at the center of the royal family's biggest secret is believed to have worked at St. Andrews University, the very place where William and Kate's romance began. But this part of William's life took place long before headlines celebrated his relationship with Kate. Those who were at the university during William's early days haven't forgotten her. She wasn't a student, but worked in administration. Described as smart, private, and highly professional, she rarely drew attention to herself. Still, people noticed there was something between her and William, a quiet energy, a closeness that sparked curiosity. There were no pictures, no public outings, but those who were there say the bond was genuine, short-lived yet meaningful in its own way. It wasn't the kind of royal relationship that's written into fairy tales. It was something real, personal, and possibly something that left behind far more than memories. People who worked with her still remember how suddenly she left. One day she was there, and the next, she was gone. No goodbyes, no explanations. She disappeared from university life like she had never been part of it at all. Over time, the memory of her faded, buried under the joyful milestones of William and Kate's engagement, their beautiful wedding, and their growing family. But now, nearly 20 years later, her name has returned. This time, with a young woman whose existence could change everything. Those who know the former staffer say she's extremely private, level-headed, and has never been interested in the world of royalty. She never tried to use her connection to William, never reached out, and never tried to make her story public. But now, something has changed. She's finally decided to speak up, not for herself, but for her daughter. People close to the legal case believe this isn't about anger or payback. It's about the truth. It's about helping her daughter understand where she came from. Her goal isn't titles, money, or headlines. What she wants is something simple, which is recognition. She wants her child to be seen and respected as a person, not as a scandal to be brushed under the rug. If the palace thought they could bury this story forever, they may have overlooked something powerful: a mother's fight to give her child the truth. Because if what she says is true, this isn't just a family embarrassment. It's a life that's been hidden from view. And once a truth like that comes out, it doesn't stay quiet. It speaks loudly. It demands to be known. So, whether the monarchy is ready for it or not, that truth is coming. And their reaction to this particular news was really mind-blowing. The royal family's reaction to the revelation. When the shocking DNA results reached King Charles, those close to the palace say he didn't just react, he literally exploded. If there's one thing Charles has always dreaded, it's disorder. And in that moment, he knew exactly what this secret meant. Reports say he was told about the confirmed DNA link between William and the young woman long before it made headlines. The moment it hit his desk, he allegedly turned red, raised his voice, and slammed his hand down on the table. The first thing he reportedly said, "This must never go public. Absolutely not now, and not ever." For Charles, the timing couldn't be worse. His rule is still fresh. He's been working to present a modern, stable monarchy, one that feels relevant and secure. But now, with a possible secret child tied directly to his eldest son, the future king, that image is at risk of crumbling. Within hours, the palace swung into action. Royal advisors began an internal review trying to trace where the leak had come from and how far it had spread. The legal department was activated immediately, while the palace's communications team quietly started preparing crisis strategies behind the scenes. But one former staff member summed it up bluntly: it was already too late. The information had escaped. The DNA confirmation was already circulating online, becoming part of the public conversation. Once it hit the internet, there was no pulling it back. Behind closed doors, King Charles wasn't said to be focused on the young woman involved. His main concern was the headlines. He reportedly warned that the media would tear William apart and then turn on the rest of the royal family. But perhaps the most troubling question of all for him was, how long had William known? If even the king himself had been left in the dark, what other secrets might still be hidden behind palace walls? When the story leaked, palace officials didn't just react, they went into full damage control. Insiders revealed that within 90 minutes of the news breaking, the first emergency meeting had already begun. The goal wasn't to figure out what was true. The goal was to stop the story from spreading. Lawyers rushed to send warnings to media outlets, demanding the DNA documents be removed. There were even talks of offering money to the girl's legal team in hopes of making it all disappear quietly. But according to someone close to the situation, the offer was rejected. She didn't want hush money, she wanted to be heard. Inside the palace, the press team debated their next steps. Should they issue a bold denial, or remain silent and hope the scandal would lose momentum? Either way, they chose to say nothing at all. Probably stall, distract, or even wait for the attention to shift. But the headlines were already exploding around the world. Articles were asking whether Prince William had a hidden daughter, whether the royal family was covering up another heir, and what this meant for the future of the monarchy. Some working inside the royal household admitted privately that this wasn't just one isolated scandal, it was part of a deeper pattern. One insider claimed this was simply the first secret they failed to contain. From Princess Diana's silent suffering to Meghan Markle's emotional departure, and even Prince Andrew's past controversies, the royal family has often managed to keep their troubles behind polished appearances. But this time, the truth was different. It had a face, a name, a DNA result, and it was speaking louder than the palace could silence. Then there's Prince William's response, or lack of it. He's always been seen as the dependable one, the calm leader, the future monarch who would carry the crown with responsibility and honor. But in this storm, his silence has been overwhelming. No statement, no interview, not even a vague denial. And the more the rumors grow, the quieter he becomes. Inside the palace, some say William is struggling emotionally, still trying to wrap his head around what this all means for his public image, his role as a father, and his marriage to Kate. But another idea is gaining traction. What if this isn't new to him? What if he's known about it for years and the truth is only now catching up to him? Speculations and possible effects. Some people with links to the royal household believe there were private settlements made long ago, quiet agreements meant to keep the story from ever surfacing. But secrets don't stay buried forever. And this one is breaking through with a force no one saw coming. Some people now believe that Prince William might have known about the girl, or at least suspected the truth, long before she ever came forward. If that's the case, one painful question comes to mind. Why didn't he tell Kate? Supporters of the prince say he was young, likely overwhelmed, and may have stayed silent to protect the woman he loved. But others aren't so forgiving. They believe William chose to keep the secret for the sake of the monarchy, not his marriage. To them, his silence wasn't fear, it was strategy. A choice made not as a husband, but as a future king, where duty to the crown came before the people closest to him. The public is now deeply divided. Some still view him as a devoted father and loyal royal, but others are beginning to see past the polished image. And with each passing day, as he remains quiet, the questions grow louder. The silence is no longer calm, it's becoming a storm. This isn't just a personal matter anymore. It touches something much bigger: royal succession and the foundation of monarchy itself. If the young woman is truly Prince William's biological daughter, the issue becomes more than just DNA. It shakes the very roots of royal tradition. According to current British law, a child born outside of marriage doesn't have a legal right to the throne. The line of succession only applies to legitimate children, those formally recognized and recorded by the royal system. So legally, Prince George remains the heir, and nothing changes. But the world doesn't only run by law. It runs on emotions, beliefs, and the need for fairness. If this girl is confirmed as William's oldest child, many will ask, shouldn't that count for something? Even if she can't become queen, legal experts say she could still push for public recognition or even financial support. And that simple step alone could reshape how people view the royal family and their values. What's even more delicate is the effect on Prince George. If this secret becomes impossible to deny, it could cast a long shadow over the boy who was born into destiny. People might start questioning everything, not because George did anything wrong, but because another child might have come first. If the monarchy refuses to acknowledge her, it could spark the very public backlash they fear, a movement that favors truth over centuries-old tradition. While the palace scrambles to contain the damage, Kate is quietly dealing with a different kind of struggle, one that hits much closer to home. Her close friends describe her as emotionally drained, leaning only on those she trusts without question: her mother Carol, her sister Pippa, and her children. She was already dealing with the toll of her cancer diagnosis, trying to heal physically. Now the emotional wound has only made things heavier. It's not just about the illness anymore. It's about heartbreak. One friend revealed that Kate hasn't been answering calls from the senior royals. She's reportedly pulled back from meetings and updates, asking for space and time. People who've known her for years say this isn't like her. She's always been the calm in the storm, the one who holds everything together. But now, she's beginning to question the life she's built, her role, her reputation, and even her marriage. The palace may want to show a united front, but those closest to Kate say she's thinking about something much deeper than duty. She's quietly considering her next move. Would she stay and keep up the royal image, or would she leave to protect her peace? Whispers say that decision is weighing on her more than any crown ever could. And the public? They're watching with their hearts wide open. Social media has become a wave of support, with hashtags pouring in from all over the world. Many are telling her to stay strong. Others are urging her to leave with her head held high if that's what she needs. One thing everyone agrees on: Kate has always been a shining example of grace. But now, more than ever, she's becoming a symbol of strength, of truth, and of quiet survival in a world that's louder than ever. The moment the news hit the public, it felt like the entire world froze. In just a few hours, the story exploded everywhere. Newspapers splashed it across their front pages, news channels aired breaking segments, and social media, especially Twitter, now known as X, erupted like lightning striking the internet. This wasn't just another royal drama tucked inside British borders. It spread like wildfire across the globe. From CNN to Germany's Der Spiegel, from Al Jazeera to popular TikTok feeds, everyone had something to say. TikTok in particular went wild. Users posted side-by-side images, theories flooded the app, and emotional reactions poured in by the second. Instagram, too, was filled with old pictures of William and Kate, once admired for their fairy tale love, now seen through the lens of heartbreak. But what shocked the royal family most wasn't the speed or scale of the coverage, it was the mood. The world wasn't entertained. They weren't joking. This time, people were truly upset. Anger swept through public opinion. Frustration boiled over, not just at the possible scandal itself, but at how the palace appeared to be hiding it. People were furious at the secrecy, at the lack of accountability, and most painfully, at the idea that once again a woman close to the royal family had been left in the dark, while the royal institution quietly shielded itself from shame. Experts and commentators began comparing this moment to the past. Some pointed to Princess Diana, saying this wasn't the first time the palace put the crown ahead of compassion. Headlines screamed, "First Charles, now William, are we watching the same story unfold again?" Even as the firestorm spread, Buckingham Palace chose silence. While the media buzzed, the royal household remained quiet, likely hoping the world would lose interest. But this time, it wasn't a shallow story about drama behind palace doors. It was bigger. This was about identity, about betrayal, about truth and who gets to shape it. And the public wasn't backing down. People wanted explanations. They wanted honesty. Because to many, the royal fairy tale had cracked, and no one was believing the happily ever after anymore. As the pressure reached a breaking point, the palace did respond, but in a way that left many even more disappointed. There was no open discussion, no heartfelt moment from the royals, and certainly no real attempt at explanation. Instead, a short and very carefully crafted statement was quietly issued. It didn't address any names or confirm anything. It simply said that they would not respond to private, unverified claims. For most people, this felt like dodging responsibility. And by then, the damage had already spiraled out of their hands. Former staff members began leaking their thoughts off the record. One who once worked closely with the royal media team during Harry and Meghan's exit described the atmosphere now as fearful and chaotic. They said the palace was bracing for the worst, worried that if things kept unraveling, the damage wouldn't just touch the royals, it might shake the whole foundation of the monarchy. Inside the palace walls, there was another operation quietly unfolding. Staff members were allegedly instructed to wipe digital traces, removing names, pictures, or past events that could possibly link the girl or her mother to anyone royal. Anything that could connect the dots was reportedly erased without a sound. But that silence didn't ease the outrage, it made it louder. Instead of settling the noise, it gave people more reason to question. The story had already taken on a life of its own. And now, the people weren't just looking for gossip, they were demanding the truth. Many are now asking, why hasn't the palace responded directly to the DNA claim? Why hasn't there been a clear denial? A respected royal expert said it perfectly. When royalty stays silent, people start filling in the blanks themselves. And now, imaginations are running wild. The public sees a hidden child, a heartbroken princess, and a royal family scrambling to protect its most fragile truth, that honesty may hold more power than tradition ever did. While Buckingham Palace remains quiet behind its grand gates, someone else might be preparing to step into the spotlight. The girl at the center of this storm, the one tied by whispers to Prince William, is no longer a shadow in the background. After weeks of gossip and mystery, it seems she may finally speak for herself. Several trusted media outlets have reported that this 19-year-old, through her legal team, is being approached by top networks, including giants like the BBC and Netflix. They're all eager to land the first interview. But according to people close to her, this has nothing to do with fame or attention. They say she isn't chasing headlines, she just wants to be seen, to be heard, to finally be acknowledged. She didn't grow up behind palace walls, no royal titles, no carriages or crowns, just an ordinary life far away from royal luxury. But now, everything has changed. Her world is shifting, and the weight of a royal legacy seems to be falling right onto her shoulders. Her lawyers are reportedly preparing a message that may confirm it all, from the DNA match to the emotional path that led her from a secret kept in the dark to someone the monarchy can no longer pretend doesn't exist. Her story is deeply personal. For years, she's lived with questions that went unanswered. Her mother gave her only pieces of the truth. Now, stepping forward isn't about revenge, it's about understanding who she really is. If she speaks out, this could become one of the biggest turning points in royal history. Because the public is tired of cover-ups, tired of silence. They want answers. And if she reveals everything, the palace may never be able to silence the truth again. With this secret no longer hidden, the future of the royal family now hangs by a thread. A question the monarchy has avoided for generations is now staring it in the face. What truly makes someone royal? Is it a noble birth, legal recognition, or something more like honesty, character, and trust? As the dust settles, it's clear that public faith in the royal institution has been shaken. Surveys show younger generations are losing confidence fast. Online hashtags like Modern Monarchy and Abolish the Crown are being shared alongside Justice for Kate. The Princess of Wales, meanwhile, is staying out of the public eye. Insiders say she's quietly healing, holding on to her children, and reevaluating everything: her role, her relationship, and the royal world that once promised her everything. Prince William, once admired as the steady future king, now finds himself under intense scrutiny. The image of the calm, trustworthy prince is no longer shining. He may still be next in line for the crown, but in the eyes of many he has lost something far more precious, their hearts. And then there's the girl, still unrecognized, still unofficial, but no longer invisible. Her existence alone has shattered the illusion of a flawless royal bloodline. Whether the palace chooses to embrace her or reject her, her truth will leave a permanent mark on the crown. Her voice, if she chooses to share it, could reshape everything. One commentator put it bluntly that Princess Diana once fought for openness, and now it may be her son's secret that ends up breaking the very system she tried to change. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the British monarchy may never return to what it was. Because some truths, no matter how deeply buried, always rise, and this one was born to be seen. So, what do you think about this royal long-held secret? Do you think that the revelation of this child will serve as a threat to the royal family? Let's hear from you in the comments. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.